see this camera. Don't know if I can get that out of there. Doesn't look very good. Give me a moment while I adjust. I'm just adjusting because all you see is my camera in my other screen. So I'm just trying to adjust. Oh, yes, let's see. Still. Okay, just learning a little, trying out new things, and we got it, I think. Close, for goodness sakes. Okay. All right. So we are okay. So we are doing the possibilities quilt sew along block 3. Again, I apologize for the lateness in coming to you to sew this together. It's just a simple error of didn't have enough fabric. All right. So we are working on block. I'm trying not to get too much in your face here. You don't need to see me. It's better to see what's going on. All right. So there we go. Again, blue, right side facing down. Let's get it out of the way. Take your piece of paper with our little block 3 on it. We're going to fold back the paper. That's it, so we can get our seam allowance. I'm using an 1/4 inch ruler, which I think is very helpful. You do foundation paper right sides together. Get your pin. I'm using, I think they're something house pins. They're very tiny little pins, very, very, very tiny pins, very thin, easy to use, very pokey. You really poke your fingers. They're a very, very sharp pin, but they work well because you don't want a dull pin for this. Definitely don't want a dull. And I don't know what you would use dull pins for, actually. Okay, so again, we're doing orange star legs. We're going to do all the 2s, and then we can do the 3s. Oops. My fabric just moves. Put it back. This isn't as complicated as some of the pieces that you could come and be working with, but it's definitely a great pattern and a great place to start. And I'm going to recommend that you trim your piece to 4.5, not following those lines. Because when mine printed, it seems a little bit short. Turn my phone on Do Not Disturb. So I can do that. All right.
Okay, Do Not Disturb is now on.
I don't know if I need all of these or if I put too many. I'm going to set this. I'm going to just a little bit of heat on this because it's kind of like a little bit of creasing. I guess sitting around waiting for my fabric to come in. It got a little bit wrinkly. But I should be good to go, and either tomorrow or Thursday, I'm hoping, that is my hope, that we can do our sew along for the Dream Catcher quilt. That's what I'm hoping. I may actually think maybe do it during the day. So it just depends on the weather. And do I go to work? Do I not? Is weather bad? I'm expecting a lot of snow. We had rain the other day, and now we're expecting a lot of snow. 20 centimeters or something like that. So not the big storm ever, but we have one more to do. Okay. One more. Super great. Okay, so we're going to, again, lay your pattern on the wrong side of your fabric. A little hard to tell with the solid fabric, but sometimes you can tell. And just pick a side. It's not like Okay. Then our orange piece, right sides together. Again, a little difficult with solid sometimes, but sometimes you can clearly see. Just pin it. And then we're going to start stitching those. All right. So we're going to stitch right on this line here from piece 1, which is our background or blue, to piece 2, which is our orange star leg. We're going to sew right along there at a 1.5 stitch length or smaller should you choose, but 1.5 seems to work well for me. I always start a little bit before and then sew a little bit. And I like to stop with my needle in the down position. So I kind of set up a little nest for myself with my pin jar here, my pieces here, machine, and then I set them over here to be ironed. Try to take the pin out so that I can get right to ironing once I'm done them all. And it doesn't matter if you start here or up here as long as you stay on the line. And with my 1/4-inch foot here, it has an opening, so I make sure that that paper is lined right between the 2 toes, I guess. And again, we're going to do 8 of these. Stars with orange. I have made the 3 stars with the yellow wings already. I did that this morning. I was up super early this morning, just couldn't sleep anymore. Got up and started sewing. Didn't seem to bother anybody sleeping, so I think they noticed that. So I don't think the cats cared. Okay. If you're wondering if you have it lined up right, you can always hold it up to the light. You should be able to see your 1/4-inch seam allowance there with the shadows. Or if you have a light box. You can also see it. I dropped a pin and I don't know where it is. Okay. One more to do. And you do this for all the star legs, regardless. In this particular month, we're making 5. We're making, let me make sure that's right. It's hard to tell that way, but that way's fine. 5 star. 3 of them have yellow legs and 2 have. That's all the foundation paper we have to do for this particular block. And I did look ahead at all of the different blocks that we need to make, and it seems like this is the last month for foundation paper. It seems like all the other ones are simple traditional piecing. So it's a beautiful quilt and lots of fun. I think it'll be really fun to see finished. I've never made this quilt before, so I'm learning right along with all of you. Again, it's the possibilities block of the month by Charisma Horton. And I found the pattern and thought it would be a great one to share and a fun one to do together. You want to make sure that you press it really nice and flat, no creases, no pleats. None of that. So again, nice and black. That's what we want. So we just need 8 star legs, 4 for each star. Okay. So that's what it looks like from the non-paper side, the right side of the unit, and the part that we're going to see in the quilt. This is the wrong side where you can see our seam allowance is there. And it's okay if it's a little bit messy or wonky. No one's going to see it. It's covered up. So now we need to do part 3, which is another orange star leg. So we're going to do the exact same thing we just did. We're going to crease along that line with our ruler. And you can see there that I just pulled it down because the fabric was sticking onto the paper. Then I'm going to use my 1/4 inch. I'm going to trim a 1/4 inch away. Some orange came off, not a big deal. Then I'm going to take another orange star leg and place it in line with the blue. So I get my seam allowance, and then I'm going to pin, and voila, there you go. So now I'm going to stitch on this, oops, see, very pokey. Stitch on this line here between the 3 and the 1. And I'm going to do that for all of my block. Okay. And then our star legs are done. Very simple. Very, very simple, but very accurate. And then, like I said, I found that my paper shrunk just, I don't know if it shrunk, but that line seemed to be too close. So I'm going to trim it with my 4.5, with my, sorry, I shouldn't see what, I'm going to trim it with the ruler for the side that it's supposed to come out to. All right, so give it a good crease. Some of these I did crease before and some I didn't, and I don't really see a difference. When it's a little bit more complicated, maybe there would be a little bit more difference, but these are nice big pieces with not too many intersecting lines, so it's not too bad. And I love the accuracy of foundation paper. I'm not crazy about it, but I do love the accuracy of it. So if you're just joining and you're going, oh, what the heck is she doing? I missed month 1 and 2. Go to our YouTube channel, Quilts for Survivors, 4 as an FOR, and all of our previous videos are there, and you can take a look. And they're recorded live, just like I'm doing now, and they're unedited. And you can see all of the, even the wonderful mistakes that I've made. It doesn't seem like I've done a month yet without making a little whoopsies. This month was, I didn't have enough fabric. But here we are, stitching. And as I said in the previous video, if you're stitching, you're not stitching. Hopefully you're not getting too frustrated with your stitching. So I did earlier today, I did make the Riley Blake block of the block challenge for the week. So that is great because it's done, and I'm excited because it's done. So that brings me joy because it is done. And I can show you that after if you like. I cut the fabric this morning, not knowing what the block was, and then came home from work and pieced it together and had some fun doing that. All right. So same method all the time. Get your, you need your seam allowance. Oh, that didn't cut apart. Get your seam allowance, lay your fabrics right sides together. I like to pin it. Pin. And then stitch them all. And then we're going to trim them and rip all of this. Well, we're going to sew them, iron them, rip all the paper off. And then sew them into a 9 patch. That'll be 12.5 by 12.5. So there we go. So we're going to stitch right along that. Oh, I did it again. See, I was focused. We're going to stitch right along this drawn line here. You can see right along this line that we creased on. And then we're going to press, trim, rip the paper off, and attach it. Here's our centers, and then here's our corner blocks to make stars. All right, we don't need this ruler anymore, so we'll get it out of the way. Excuse me. And I'm going to start stitching. And just a reminder, my stitch length is 1.5, so you do have to lower that. It makes it easier to rip off the paper without ripping out, your seams. I don't chain piece here. I just stitch. And I toss my pins. Make sure that everything is linked, but you can put more than one pin. If you need to. Some, bigger pieces, or perhaps you might use more pin. I would say use big pins. I would just say use. I'll stick it down here and I can just slide it off. It's magnetic. It should pick up. Okay. Load that in. Looking good so far. Again, if you're having any issues, wondering if it's lined up good, use your light bulb or just move it up to the right. Trying to stitch right on that line as best as I can. We have 8 to do. I haven't counted how many I've done. Oh, the thing I checked that was folded. That might be where you want to put more than one. Make sure that it's not folded over. Stitching again down that one. Now again, do 3 blocks. So I'm only going to be showing you 2 tonight. You have made your blocks. Awesome. Good for you. If you haven't, then I encourage you to get them sewn. And you do have the whole month to make all of the blocks. You don't have to make them all on fit. Okay. So now we're going to take this over to the iron. I always set my seam. No, I don't think I set my seam with the paper. I just roll it back nice and we're going to get a piece that looks like this. I know it looks a little wonky and weird, but that's where the trimming comes in. So it looks kind of like, I think it kind of looks like a teepee. I really like this orange color. It's very pretty. Oh, just pressing it. Nice and flat. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so now we're done. Sort of. Not completely done, but done. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take each one of these pieces. This is the right side of the piece. This is the wrong side with the paper. You don't rip the paper off yet. First, you trim it. So these need to be trimmed to 4.5. Just going to move these out of the way. Put these rollers back. All right. So we are going to take our, if you have a rotating mat, this is a great time to use it. We're going to take our piece and we're going to set, as mentioned, I'm going to use my 4.5-inch ruler because last time I cut them, they were a little bit shy, a little bit short. There we go. And we have enough, we have paper, we have fabric all the way around. So there's one. We'll rip the paper off after. I think I'm going to cut them all and then rip the paper off. So let's line this up. Safety first. So if you don't have a rotating mat, just turn your block. Somehow make it so that it's nice and safe to cut your. Might have to change it. It's a little bit dull. Trim, trim, and trim. So I'm definitely getting fuller. So these should be the same size as the squares that I pulled out, which now they are, so much better than what I was using earlier today when I followed my printouts. It's not a lot of difference, but it is enough to that I noticed difference. So I'm going to lost it. Down. Okay. The corner cut off. Yep, that's right. I'm going to throw all this away. I'm sure I'm done. I got a couple more to trim. We're done. I just recently bought this not that long ago, just before Christmas, I think, or maybe just after Christmas. I bought this rotating mat, and I really like it. I had a smaller one before. Oh, so I got it's two there. And I really do like it. It makes just makes cutting a little safer for me. Okay. Trim. Trim. Rotate. Trim. There is quite a bit of waste, I guess, to foundation paper piecing, but you can't beat the accuracy. Go. I'm not worried about cutting through the paper with my rotary cutter. I'll just change my blade. There we go. all done. And then we'll just not make this anymore. Back. I do like to try to keep my space clean and organized. All right. So now we're gonna rip off the paper. There we go. I'll just bring my camera up here. So there is our finished unit, star leg. I don't know what else to call it. Foundations in the color combinations and amounts indicated below. Should I remember to start over here? There we go. Sometimes they come off really easily. And again, this is not a very detailed foundation paper piece. It's not as difficult as some with, multiple sew lines on it. This is just two. But it's a great beginner, very beginner friendly for sure. I think anyone could make this. So if you're just joining us on TikTok, I am recording this on YouTube, our YouTube channel, Quilts for Survivors. And you can get your purchase your quilt pattern possibilities by Charisma Hortons. It is a block of the month, and we are on month 3. It's gentle foundation paper. It really is. It's just 2 seams. But look at how beautiful these starlings are. Very nice. And we didn't have to cut any weird sizes. We cut rectangles and squares. Done. All right, so now we're going to lay out our blocks. So I have 2 centers. I have a light red and a pink. I know that looks like pink, but I'm using it as my light red. Then you're going to place your star legs. All of these blocks are the same size. You do need the pattern because you do need those paper templates in order to make this the way it's made in the book. In the pattern, sorry. I got a free PDF pattern, so it's instant download. So there we go. Now we're going to sew it together, and that is what our star block looks like. How amazing is that? I think it looks great. So we're just going to sew it like a 9 patch, and then we're done. We're going to sew both of them together. I'm going to up my stitch length to my normal stitch length, and we're going to sew. So now that I cut these according to the size as opposed to what was printed on the paper, they're going together much better already. Because we are sewing like traditional piecing now, I can simply chain piece my block together, which is super awesome. I do have both blocks there, one on top of the other. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Turn it around. Second one. There's not really a lot to this block. This not. It's quite simple, which sometimes is really nice. You can start to. This isn't the one. You can start to cut the fabric for the next one should you choose, and just be ready for the next month. We will probably, hopefully, we'll get it sewn together before Easter, because then we're, getting kind of far into the months. I try to do it on the 1st or near the 1st of the month. I said I miscalculated my fabric and didn't have enough. I started cutting it, and I just was like, oh, I don't have enough. I had enough for the corners, and that was it. So I did cut all my pieces apart. I find with these bigger blocks, it's easier if I just cut them apart. All these threads pulling, being a little annoying. Right, the center. Star leg. This is going together very nice. I'm glad I chose to cut it according to size as I post up following the paper. So I did that earlier and it just was a little short. Right. So our other one with the light red center. Now your colors, should you choose to make this block, might be a little bit different than mine. Well, that's okay. I also used, I did have to buy some colors, but I tried to use as much of my stash as I was surprised how fabric I had in my stash. My bobbin running. So that beeping you hear is my bobbin telling me hello, I'm getting low, but I have a few in there, so cut, grab a new bobbin, swap it out. It's almost time for me to make my bobbins. Right. Okay, so now I'm going to press these with the iron. I do find it much easier to sew together if I press them. So I'm pressing the top and bottom out and the center in. So everything will nest really nice. So let's sew this together. Let's sew this thing together. You can pin, of course, right at your where you can pin as much as you want, right where your seams begin. I am choosing not to pin. That's just how I do things. Nesting, there we go. Okay, great. Okay, so that one's done. We're gonna press this block now. That's the bottom of my first block. I'm gonna cut these apart. I find it so much easier than fiddling with those strings, those threads. You can leave them, of course. I just find it easier because I like to press. I just find it awkward. Why do it awkwardly? Why not just, cut the threads, press it nicely. You do what's best for you. This is what works best for me. I don't like fiddling with all the pieces and all that. So there's the top coming down, beautiful star legs. A little different than half square triangles or flying geese legs. Just a little different. What you normally do with our legs. Right, just gonna press this. I'll press that down. I'm trying to sneak up on you now. Right. So right sides together, nesting those two seams, and we're almost done. One more seam and we are done. And then because I have my yellow ones already made, I am done for the month, which makes me feel really good about that. Chin down, down. Simply going to sew a bonus block as I often do. Totally different quilt, totally different fabric. Just something to feed the machine. All right. That's done. Let's press all the block and we'll see how it turned out. I didn't plug in my larger iron, so I'm just going to use my small one here. But because we pressed it so well all the way along, it makes it super easy. Look at how beautiful that looks. Isn't that pretty? Even the colors, the orange and the pink, really nice together. The orange and this light red look together too. I know it's kind of a pink color, but it's my light red. So there you go. Two super fun blocks. I think I have a sliver. Made with foundation paper piecing for the star legs, but a very simple block to make that wasn't too complicated. And we made 2 blocks in 37 minutes, or 40 minutes. And to complete the month, we needed to make some yellow blocks. So here are my yellow blocks, and you can see these are just a little bit short. So I do like that I cut those ones a little better. So there you go, the yellow and the orange. So that's it for our possibilities block of the month. I hope you enjoyed that and that you'll try it out. The pattern is available from Charisma Horton. I'm going to turn off our YouTube.